After a 19-year playing career, Steven Gerrard has decided to hang up his football boots. And if you just look at his stats, it is no secret as to why he's such a great player, mainly for Liverpool with over 700 appearances, the third most in the team's history, 186 goals in all competition for the Reds to his name. And he also managed to captain England at the 2010 and 2014 World Cups. Now, those are just some of the highlights from one Liverpool great to another. Stevie Nicol, thankfully, is here with us for this one. Stevie, where would you rank him in terms of greatest footballers of all time?
I'll tell you what, at Liverpool, he's probably got to be in the top 5. You talk about somebody who, in his prime, with a team like Liverpool, with a storied team, to be able to carry them on your back and not just perform, but actually make the difference. And particularly in the Champions League final, when it mattered most, there is no question, if Steven Gerrard is not on the field, Liverpool are not winning that trophy. I mean, that's how important, that's how good he is. And at the end of the day, you know, Liverpool have had many, many great players, but the best ones have had the biggest desire, day in and day out, to want to do what they're capable of doing. And this guy did it for, my goodness, what did you say, 700 games or something crazy?
710 games indeed for Liverpool.
Incredible.
Now, even though that the UEFA Champions League title in such spectacular fashion that it was won is something special, do you think it takes away from his greatness the fact that he never won a Premier League title, though?
I think, unfortunately, everybody outside of Anfield will point the finger and say, well, he never won a Premier League title. But let's be honest, you can't do it on your own. And if anybody did their utmost, it was him. But you know what? How many people can say they carried a team to a Champions League victory? Not many.
You talk about big players, and this guy was a big game player. My memory goes straight to the final against Milan when they were absolutely pummeled in the first half. I don't know what was said at half-time, but obviously with some we've got to do a little bit better than this, boys. And who puts the team on his back? Steven Gerrard. If he doesn't get that goal so early as the second half started, maybe they don't come back. But he set the tone, and then they steamrolled the way back into that game and eventually won it. So that, for me, will be my lasting memory of him, because he's just, what a driving force in the middle of the park. He could do it all. Well,
Shaka, I know you have a very special memory of Steven Gerrard. Even your son reminds you of it, that 2006 FA Cup final where Stevie G scored on you. But Shaka, what made him so great?
Well, first of all, Stevie G scored the last goal I conceded in English club football.
It was a good one.
It was a great one.
He also scored the last goal I conceded in international football. Thank you very much, Mr. Gerrard. But I'll tell you what, as footballers go, and I understand what Steve is saying. I am very much on the outside of Anfield, so to speak. I think Liverpool not winning a title with Steven Gerrard takes away from his legacy, because I think, as a player, I don't think there are many. He deserves to be in that same level that we speak of Roy Keane and the likes of Frank Lampard. For my money, I think he's a better box-to-box midfielder than both of them. Now, everybody has their own attributes and will have their preferences, but purely in terms of box-to-box, both sides of the pitch, I don't think they came any better and any more important for their club than Steven Gerrard. And then, yes, his goals, whenever Liverpool needed big goals, invariably. And as much as we could talk about some of the players that came through Anfield during his time, nobody delivered big goals more consistently than Steven Gerrard.
Stevie, what about you? What are some of your favorite memories of Steven Gerrard that you've been watching?
Well, I think obviously the main one, the one that Paul brought up, is the goal in the Champions League final. But he scored a goal against Olympiacos to actually get Liverpool into the knockout stages. That without that goal, that one doesn't happen.
No, true.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and there was a great commentary on it as well with Andy Gray. So whenever you talk about Champions League, yes, I think about the final, but also think, you know what, without that incredible goal at Anfield in the last minutes of a game, typical Gerrard, as Shaka knows all about. Last kick of the game, he takes them into the next stages. So without that, huge night doesn't happen.
All right, well, good that you should say that because Stevie G definitely has quite a few memorable goals. So much so that we decided to ask you to tell us which was his best goal for Liverpool. And no surprise, it is that special Champions League final goal against AC Milan. The goal that Shaka knows very well is right behind it as 27%. Shaka, what do you remember? Walk us through it. Come on, tell us the memory.
I tell you what I remember. I remember Steven Gerrard going down injured in the middle of the park. Lionel Scaloni, who was on loan, Argentine right back, was on loan from Napoli, I think it was. Instead of booting the ball up the pitch, as anybody should have done in that circumstance, decides to put it out right there. We were only, 5 or 10 yards out from the end line, but put it out right there in far too sportsman-like a manner. Liverpool throw the ball back to us, press us, and the clearance falls right to Steven Gerrard, who somehow picks himself up after being down on the pitch, moments before. And because he's down, there's nobody anywhere near him, and just smashes an incredible. To be fair, I saw it coming all the way, and I
Slow motion.
I got nowhere near it.